things forward, and no doubt hoping that his party, which is called Servant of the People, will achieve some sort of at least minor breakthrough in that election, which I think is supposed to happen in the next 2 months, so rather than October the 27th. And that would mean still that his party would have to find an alliance with another coalition partner, but for him that would still be a better situation than the current one with these parties at each other's throats. And he's urged this current parliament to enact two major laws to kind of answer to these expectations of Ukrainian voters. One is a law that would strip MPs of immunity from prosecution. So that would be a pretty bold step if they decided to do that even before the next parliamentary election happens. The other one is a law that would ban MPs from enriching themselves illegally. Again, it's not clear whether either of those two things will come to pass before he can really get going with his own party post-parliamentary election. But at the moment, he's keen to show, of course, that he wants to try and do the most to make good on his election promises, even though at the moment it's just him without a majority of his own in Parliament at the moment.
Georgian, thank you. And in other world news, Google has barred the world's second biggest smartphone maker, Huawei, from some updates to the Android operating system. The move is being seen as a significant blow to the Chinese company. It comes after the Trump administration added Huawei to a list of companies that American firms will not be able to trade with unless they have a licence. Our Beijing correspondent Charles Pellegrin has more.
Huawei released a statement this Monday, a very short statement, where they started by reminding Google that Huawei has been instrumental in contributing to Google's growth by using the Android operating system and by being the world's second biggest smartphone manufacturer. They then used the rest of the statement to reassure some of their users that they would continue receiving security updates on their phones. However, they didn't have any more details to provide about whether these users would be able to continue using apps like YouTube or Chrome that are provided by Google. Now, there's also the statements and the reaction from the Chinese government. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs held a press conference this Monday afternoon where they started by saying that they support their Chinese companies abroad and they're encouraging them to defend themselves using legal means. They also flatly denied the accusations from the United States government, saying that Huawei has been used or can be used for espionage purposes by the Chinese government, saying that they never provided any evidence. And what it comes down to at the end of the day for China, it's always the same message, is that they say this is not about national security, this is not about espionage, this is about the United States wanting to curb China's rise as a power.
So what impact is this going to have on US-China trade talks, Charles?
Well, the question here is, what is the U.S. strategy? Is Donald Trump using these sanctions against Huawei as a bargaining chip in the trade talks in order to extract concessions from the Chinese government? Or is it actually just a way to hurt Huawei in their quest, in their race to develop 5G and wireless networks, the future of technology that will be crucial for a number of different things, including automation, the next generation of warfare? It's really crucial technology. So the question here is, what is the United States strategy in these trade talks? Are they actually really wanting to reach some sort of deal with the Chinese, or are they just trying to slow down the Chinese economy, to hurt China where it hurts? At this point in time, really, the talks have broken down almost entirely. There's actually a sort of a ramping up of anti-U.S. rhetoric here in China. Over the weekend, state TV aired old anti-U.S. propaganda movies in primetime slots, movies about the Korean War. So really, it doesn't look great for the trade talks right now. The next key date will be the next G20 summit in Osaka in June, where Donald Trump and Xi Jinping are very likely to meet.
Charles Pellegrin reporting there from Beijing. And thousands of people have welcomed Moise Katumbi, a prominent foe of former DR Congo President Joseph Kabila, as he flew in Monday after 3 years in self-imposed exile. Katumbi is a wealthy businessman and former governor of the Katanga province, which is in the southeast of the country. He returned 3 years to the very day after he flew out to Belgium. He was once considered an ally of Kabila, but the pair fell out. He was given a 3-year jail term in absentia for alleged property fraud, an accusation he's denied, and as a result was barred from standing in last December's elections. Here in France, doctors have stopped feeding and hydrating a 42-year-old man who's been in a vegetative state for over a decade. The man's wife and 6 of his siblings have agreed with the medical team on ending his treatment. However, his Roman Catholic parents insist his life should continue, calling the decision a crime. Yenna Lee reports.
Behind these doors, Vincent Lambert's medical team is getting ready for his death. The 42-year-old has been in a vegetative state for over a decade, kept alive thanks to feeding tubes. Treatment his doctors have now stopped.
Rachel Lambert has always held the same position. She wants the will of her husband to be respected. She can only be satisfied. Now she sees that the doctors are carrying it out.
Lambert's wife, Rachel, at least 5 of his siblings, the highest court in France and even the European Courts of Human Rights support the decision. Medical experts say his brain damage is irreversible. However, the patient's parents believe his state could improve in a specialized hospital.
We are gradually switching him off, little by little. They're Nazis, that's what I think. I won't tell you what I think they deserve.
Lambert's parents and their supporters say it's euthanasia in disguise. The practice is banned in France, but doctors are allowed to end medical care in specific circumstances. The French Catholic Church and the UN body on disabled rights called on authorities to wait. In 2013, doctors, with his wife's consent, halted Lambert's treatment for weeks. This until the parents launched a legal battle to keep him alive. Lambert's 6-year struggle has become symbolic of the debate on the right to die. The 42-year-old didn't leave behind instructions on what to do if he were in this situation, but his wife and his nephew insist that the former nurse was against relentless medical treatment.
And that's it for this edition. Do stay with us here on France 24.
France 24, a different point of view.
Hello there, welcome back to part 2 of our Europe Report special. We're starting straight off with some news from Central Europe. Now, there have been concerns there about media freedom in Austria after a lawyer in Vienna lodged a legal complaint against a German comedian for his political comments. Now, Jan Böhmermann is known for his outspoken satire. In a recent interview he gave on Austrian public TV, he described Austria's Chancellor Sebastian Kurz as, I quote, a 32-year-old insurance salesman with lots of hair gel. In the same programme, he also talked of Austrian voters as, quote, 8 million morons, calling out for authoritarian leadership. Now, the FPO party that's been in government since 2017 has endorsed the lawsuit that's been lodged by the lawyer in Vienna. That's the party that won 1.3 million votes in the last general election and joined as junior coalition partner with Sebastian Kurz's Conservative OVP. Now, a couple of days ago, I asked Rubina Möhring, who's president of Reporters Without Borders in Austria, if she thinks that the case will in fact be successful.
I don't think so. I mean, this lawyer who did it, he is well known for actions like these. And I think it's quite a good propaganda for him and his office, but nothing else.
Well, this is a TV comedian in this case. There have, though, however, been recent cases of journalists being attacked by Austrian political figures too.
Yes, it's very, very difficult, the situation now. As you know, Reporters Without Borders International got its international index analyzing 180 countries. And until last year, Austria got the place number 11, and that's in the wide region where the democracy is absolutely perfect, or more or less perfect. Now it sank down to place number 16, 5 points down. That's a lot. I mean, that's really a lot. And now it's in the so-called yellow region, where you have to look at it and just to observe what's going on with democracy in Austria. Democracy means as well press freedom. So it's just the first year of our new government. You know, we got a conservative coalition between the conservatives and the right populists. And journalists sometimes are in danger, especially TV journalists of the public TV. It's Armin Wolf, the best moderator Austria got. He's very accepting. He's very, very careful. And while FPÖ was calling him the right
My father
populist,
and other relatives worked there for 40-some-odd years.
Called him a liar, and then he said, "Oh no, you know, it's the time of the carnival. It was a joke." That's not a joke.
It's just iconic building. Every day I look out my window.